Okay, everybody. Hello, welcome back. So, my name is Dr. Michael. I'm a physical therapist that specializes in working with running, and I'm sitting here with my wonderful wife, and she has some questions relevant to beginner runners. So, if you are a beginner runner, this video is made for you. And the questions that we are going to be talking about and answering are listed in the description of this video. So, you can jump to the description and look at what questions are being asked, and then just jump to whichever one you care about most. But here we go.
Okay, what kind of gear do I need to get started with running?
Great question. So, what kind of gear to get started with running? Um, Running is a beautiful sport because you don't actually need a lot. So, it's very easy to see people that are runners, quote unquote, and look at how they look and to think, oh man, do I need to get all that kind of stuff to really run? And the short answer is no. Pretty much all you're going to need to get into running is going to be a pair of comfortable shoes to run in and some way to measure the distance or time that you're running. So, a lot of people get really overwhelmed when it comes to running shoes. But from my perspective, the simplest way to choose a pair of running shoes is to run them through the comfort filter. So you basically put on a pair of shoes, you run on them a little bit in the running shoe store, and you see how they feel. And if they feel good, great. You buy them, and then you just run with that, see if it works. And there's really no one answer for everybody. Everyone. That's why there's so many different types of shoes. You pretty much just have to try a pair of shoes on, run in them a little bit. If they feel good as you run, then they're good enough. So having some degree of running shoes is probably the most important thing. It's step one. But then what you're also going to want is some way to measure how far you're going and how long you're running for. There's a whole bunch of different fitness watches that you can get that can answer those questions for you. You can also do it simply by holding your phone and downloading an app like Strava, or there's the Nike Run Club app. I think Adidas has an app. There's a bunch of different running and fitness related apps. And basically, what it does is it connects GPS to your phone, and then you basically hit start workout, and then it'll go from there. But a lot of people are tired, get annoyed with holding their phone in their hand or in their pocket or whatever as they're running. So that's where people start to get into different types of gear or setups that minimize the discomforts associated with that. And most people just learn that as they just start to run. So don't get so caught up in having to have all the gear at the beginning. I'd say at least get yourself a pair of shoes, bring your phone with you with an app, and that's going to be enough to get started. And everything else you can kind of figure out along the way as you get more comfortable running and as you're running more.
Okay. So, and if my knees hurt when I run, do you recommend like lots of cushion in my shoes?
Good question. So, hey, my knees hurt. So the question is, my knees hurt as I run. Does that mean I should think about my footwear a little bit more specifically? Basically, is there anything we can think about related to footwear that could solve any sort of a pain point? The answer to that is short answer is yes. There are a lot of people that will buy a pair of shoes and then their aches and pains can be decreased. Some people buy a pair of shoes and whatever pain they're having goes away. That can definitely happen, and there are times where it's recommended to buy a new pair of shoes. However, I would, exercise some restraint with that because you don't want to think that buying shoes solves your pain all the time. That can happen. If you don't have a good pair of running shoes or the running shoes you're in are worn out, maybe they're actually not that great of a fit for you, and then you buy a new pair of shoes and then pain seems to decrease or go away. That's a great sign. And that's definitely something you can try if you're struggling with pain. You can try to buy a new pair of running shoes, but I wouldn't default to buying new shoes when you have pain as like, oh, I need to do that because I have a pain. I need to get new shoes because then people can get really caught up in the shoe, and then it kind of detracts away from, okay, well, how strong are my knees? Am I training correctly? What other training errors am I making? So shoes are definitely a part of it, but it's not the entire picture. So short answer, yes, you can buy more cushioned shoes, and it might help your knees. I know that was a long answer.
Perfect. I think that was super helpful. Thank you.
Perfect. Awesome. So maybe a couple of those questions were helpful to some of you. Check out the channel for more. Visit valiantphysicaltherapy.com to schedule a phone call with me and see if I can help you with your running. Take care.